Hey, this is Quan Tracy Cherry for Belief is Not Required and Inner Manifest Destiny. And I want to just give you an overview for October of 2019. And these are the tarot cards that have fallen for that time period. And that's Baba Adegeyudi, Father Love, who's also a part of this, apparently. And the Six of Cups is who we are. And the Hanged Man is coming from our higher self. So the Six of Cups is about love and what we will do to root for love, what we won't do for love, Bobby Caldwell kind of a thing. And it's the integration of loving kindness and being very sweet and able to show those little things to others that lets us know how we feel. So it's a cup. So it's not necessarily about money. It's more about emotion or feeling on that level. And then the Hanged Man is what are our hangups? Where are we refusing to surrender? Where are we not looking at things from a spiritual perspective? And then these are the 12 houses or the 12 signs. So the first one, and we started number one, and we got that reverse knight or king shaman of wands, and that's in Aries. So this is the opposite time of Aries. We're in the collective consciousness, the we are of Libra. So we're going to obviously get more, everyone is, by creating those partnerships that work. And so that's specifically with Aries, is to look at the ego and whether or not it's coming from an authentic space or whether it's coming from a transactional. I'll do this if you do this for me. I will only cooperate if you cooperate in this way with me. So Aries people in particular, and looking at the opposite, Libra is the high priestess reverse. So it's going within to find the wisdom, or more importantly, taking the time to find the wisdom, ritualizing the bathing, stopping and smelling the roses, whatever you do to access that inner knowledge. And we can see Bob has decided to clean his nails right on Scorpio, which is the reverse five of Pentacles, and then Taurus, which is sovereignty or dominion, the Two of Wands. So that can suggest to Taurus people that this is an excellent time to develop a second hobby, a second avocation, whatever your spirit leads you, particularly if there's some ancestry.com or anything that inspires you that maybe you've put on the back burner. And since it is opposite that Five of Pentacles, which is one of your cards, it's maybe sacrificing something physically or materially for something spiritual. Like I didn't practice law, so that was a sacrifice of materiality to be a spiritualist or an astrologer. Now here's the devil in Gemini reversed. And then it's opposite the Princess of Wands in Sagittarius. Now he's deciding to go under the yoga mat, but Baba has his own style. And so this suggests, in terms of the uh, grounded, linear, journalistic, detective mind of Gemini, balanced with the more aspirational, uh, ethical mind, higher mind of Sagittarius, it can suggest that with the reverse devil, we have to look at where have we become attached to or even intoxicated by our narratives, our negative narratives, and what do we get out of that? What do we get out of playing the victim? And since the higher self is coming as the hanged man, the negative of that is that our higher selves may be pointing out where we have been playing poor, pitiful me. And then to balance that out, the Princess of Wands is the enthusiastic good news coming through the Sagittarius part of us, and realize that Sagittarius is Gemini to Libra. It's a whole derivative house sign system that I'm not going to go into explaining, but suffice it to say that that Princess of Wands in the Libra time of year for Sagittarius suggests good news, enthusiasm, the death of fear, the ability to remember when you recognize the spirit, the energy moving within the physical body, and what that meant in terms of how people approached you, how people responded to you. Now, negatively, it can be, the cat calls and the Me Too movement, but positively, it can be just a healthy attitude toward sensuality and sex, which that's where that devil comes in. How have you dealt with only believing what the eye can see physically? Because that's really one of the only powers that the devil has, if there are any others. And then here we go. What's grounding us is the fourth sign, uh, four of wands, and And so, yeah, so he had to go under the yoga mat. So let's start a little bit over. Had to move him a little bit. And then the Four of Wands there balanced with the Six of Swords. So how in the Capricorn world, there may be challenges of not being able to move beyond the psychological pain from authority figures, from mothers, from that are being repeated in career. And then the Four of Wands, the the Four of Wands can suggest that cats going underneath the surface, well, we're moving along anyway, can suggest a celebration of home and traditions, figuring them out, even since it's an Aries card, it's coming from the independence of the family in a way that, see, here he is under the mat. And come on, Baba. Come on. Come on. There we go. And so, and then what that can mean is creating, like I said, new traditions, new rituals as well. And that Six of Swords, the most positive, is that you can start to tell new stories. Because here's the Devil 15-6. Here is the Six of Cups is who we are, period. And then, and we don't want to get stuck in mental states that the past is prologue. The pleasure axis, participation axis, 5, 5th house, Leo, Princess of Swords reversed, and the 7 of disc reversed for Aquarius. The Libra time of year for Aquarius is where Aquarians go on downloading how their humanity in terms of finding out where their ethics are and not thinking that they're above it or that they can talk themselves, rationalize with their big brains any behaviors. So this is a time period with that 7 of Pentacles with the 11th house in Aquarius that there's a necessity of pausing, of assessing, of going back, deciding what did you learn from failure? And then the Princess of Swords is cutting through depression. So that 5th house, Leo, is really good for Leos to make a wish list right now and to figure out where they fall in terms of their thought patterns and not just being a smartass for the sake of being a smartass. Now we have two princesses, the Princess of Wands in the 9th and then the Princess of Swords in the 5th. So that suggests that we're getting messages via dreams, via actual children, but definitely getting messages for Leo people that can come through the so-called synchronicity of reading certain blogs and going to certain links. And I just like to think of the Princess of Swords reversed as not necessarily defaulting to the worst case scenario, using our minds as a good servant, not necessarily a master. And then last but not least is the service axis of the Virgo 6th house. What did you do today? And the 12th house of emotional or soul service, SOUL, of Pisces. So with the 4 of Cups, indifference, apathy, that ability to be so structured around emotion that it's like a meh. So you want to be able, Virgos, to re-inspire yourself. Now, Mercury goes into Scorpio October 10th to 12th. We can get into that a little bit later. But he goes retrograde on Halloween until November. So he's going to spend basically 10 weeks each time he goes retrograde in one sign. And then this time is Scorpio. So we'll be doing a lot of talking about what that means in terms of shared resources and secrets that we'll see. And then that 9 of Wands for Pisces people is that you're not destined to keep replaying the past. And if you feel drained or if you feel like you don't have the energy to do something, no is a complete sentence. This is Quan signing out for an overview of October 2019. I think with that 6 of Cups, this is the month of loving kindness and being able to know when to assert and know when to receive and to express love. Why don't you take this time to put your comments, tell me what you think. Belief is not required, and then hashtag Inner Manifest Destiny.